What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. In this video I'm going to be installing a 5-inch exhaust on my 2006 Chevy Silverado Duramax, LBZ Duramax. We're going to be doing a 5-inch straight pipe with a flow-through muffler, and I already installed the DSP5 switch and tune from Piston Twistin LLC. So you definitely have to do that before installing any kind of 5-inch exhaust or any kind of straight pipe, because what's going to happen is your back pressure is going to drop dramatically once you run the straight pipe or a 5-inch exhaust, and that's going to throw some codes. So you definitely want to install that tune. But I'm going to give you guys a before and after, obviously. So hope you guys enjoy the video, and let's see what it's going to sound like after the install. I have an 8-inch tip. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to install that today or maybe just drive around with it with just the 5-inch tailpipe and see how I like that, because the 8-inch tip does take up a lot of real estate in the back, and I do a lot of off-roading, so I don't want that to be an issue off-roading. But this is a 5-inch diamond eye catback system, and then I got a 4-inch MBRP front pipe that I'm gonna swap out with the cat pipe on the LBZ. So let's see what happens, guys. I only have basically one bolt to remove, and that's just the cat pipe connection to the down pipe, and that looks super clean, no rust at all. This is originally a Virginia truck, absolutely zero rust underneath, so should be pretty easy. The only thing that may be a little annoying is just fitting the exhaust and just getting everything lined up properly, especially with that front pipe. So let me give you a before now so you can hear how it sounds. It doesn't sound bad. The 3.5-inch factory exhaust doesn't sound bad. It's quiet, but you can hear like a little rumble when you get up close to it. And I think 3.5 inches is, you know, not a bad size for a Duramax or diesel pickup. I think it actually looks pretty good, but you know, you got to go big or go home sometimes. And I think the 5-inch will really do justice to the Duramax, especially the LBZ. So let me do a cold start. The truck's been sitting out overnight. It's actually like in the upper 50s right now, but it dropped into the 20s last night. So I'm going to give you guys a cold start and let it idle a little, and then we're going to work on installing the exhaust, and then I'll give you a cold start after. Like I said, guys, I don't think the 3.5-inch pipe looks bad necessarily. I think it looks pretty cool, but I want to go big, so let's do the cold start. Alright guys, so I got everything laid out here. We got our 5-inch band clamps. Got a lap joint clamp there. Got a butt joint clamp. I'm gonna have to attach this front pipe here to this flange adapter. So just lay everything out, make sure you have everything, make sure everything looks good. Here we got a spare V-band clamp if necessary and spare gasket. I'm gonna try to use some tire shine to lube up the hangers. Definitely don't want to use WD-40 because WD-40 is not good for rubber, so it could degrade the hanger. So I'm going to use some tire shine. I've been spraying the bolts with Croil since last night 3 times already. Got my tools here. Love this straight through muffler from Diamond Eye. And this is all 409 stainless, not aluminized. If you get aluminized, you're going to have to redo this whole thing after a couple years. So breaker bar, torque wrench. So I'm going to start breaking the bolts loose and let's see what happens. And my truck is lifted, so I don't need to use any jack stands, but just make sure you put your truck in park and set the parking brake so you don't have that heavy truck roll on you. All right, guys, so I finally got the exhaust out. It was actually pretty easy to do because this was a Southern Virginia truck. I did have to make one cut right here because this clamp is frozen, but I had to make one cut, and taking the rest of the exhaust was actually quite easy. The rubber was still pretty soft. Let me just show you what I did here. So I did have to take the wheel well liner out, which is just held in place by 2 bolts here, and then a bunch of push pins, which I just pretty much broke them all because they were so old and brittle. So I'll just put new push pins in. But there's the downpipe flange. Looks like the gasket is stuck to it. If not, I'll put a new gasket, but spraying the PB Blaster really made this come off super easy. A lot of times the V-band clamp will get stuck around the flange here. As you can see, it's pretty rusted, but that PB Blaster really helped quite a bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean this up here. Just brush it a little bit with a steel brush, just like that. And then we're going to install the new MBRP front pipe. Hopefully it fits and there's no issues. And then we're going to install the rest of the exhaust. All right, guys, truck is running. Got the new 5-inch exhaust. Checked for leaks. There's no leaks at all. I checked for leaks. I checked all the joints. Everything looks good. I checked around here for any leaks. I'm not feeling any leaks anywhere. So we'll put the wheel well liner back on, but it does have this crazy hissing noise. Wow. All right, guys, I got the wheel well liner buttoned up again. Got some brand new push pins. The push pins were really old and brittle. I just had to break them to get them out. Got these brand new push pins. They're holding nice and strong. So no exhaust leaks. I just ran the truck a couple minutes, put my hands around all the joints, and no exhaust leaks. I think looks pretty good. Pipe's a little bit low, but that's okay because I'm going to be running that 8-inch tip. So I wanted to make room for that. But It sounds pretty interesting. It has like a hissing noise. I can actually hear the hissing through the muffler and the pipe. I can actually hear like that hissing noise. I thought it was an exhaust leak, but I think it's just the way these Duramaxes sound. I have the DSP5 switch. I did use a little bit of silicone sealant on some of the joints. It did take me a good 8 hours to do this, mostly because I had to remove the stock cat. If you're just doing a cat back, it doesn't really matter. And then I had to kind of finagle the diamond eye exhaust and get it to fit. It took a lot of finagling, but here's the original pipe. And I just had to make one cut right here, and then I was able to slide it out. Now, if you're gonna do the full straight pipe, I have a 6-inch lift on mine, and they had to lower one of the cross members on the frame, so that made it a lot easier to get the cat out. But I've heard some horror stories where on the stock cross member, this cat will get hung up and you won't be able to get it out. I'm actually going to take a light to that, and I want to see, or maybe like a bore scope. I have a bore scope. I'm going to see if I can slide it in there and see what the condition is of that cat. But yeah, I'm going to try to get some sound clips tomorrow during the daylight hours. It's nighttime right now, but everything worked out great. I was a little bit nervous I would have some exhaust leaks, or that it, you know, wouldn't fit quite right, you know, because anytime you do something aftermarket, you always got to worry about that. But everything fit fine. I'm actually going to spray some Cosmoline on the hanger clamps on those bolts in case I ever need to reposition them so they don't get rusty. I'm going to spray some Cosmoline maybe tomorrow. Next warm day, really, I'm going to spray with Cosmoline. But I think the 5-inch pipe looks a whole lot better. And it is a little bit low for my liking, but wanted to just make room for the 8-inch tip, which is going to be going back there. So, and this is that 8-inch tip. So wanted to make room for it so I have enough clearance. Got a whole bunch of stuff to clean up here. Bunch of tools and wrenches laying all over the place. Check this out. Got to clean this mess up. It's getting cold right now. It was 65 degrees and now it feels like it's 30. Fingertips are getting numb. So I got to put everything away. And then tomorrow I'm going to do some proper driving and test it out and listen to the sound of the exhaust a little bit better and get you guys some more clips. All right, guys, so depending on which DSP5 tune you have it set to, it's going to either rumble at idle or hiss at idle. So I noticed tunes 2 and 4 rumble at idle, and the rest of them hiss at idle. So 1, 3, and 5 hiss at idle, and that has to do with the turbo vane position. So tunes 1, 3, and 5, the vane position at idle is like, you know, 80%, which is really high. And at tunes 2 and 4, the vane position is at like 10%, okay? So if you want a rumble sound, tunes 2 and 4 with the DSP5, but man, I love the way it sounds. Listen. Sounds mean. Sounds the way a truck should sound. and the video doesn't do justice, but you can feel the vibration. It sounds so good. Sounds mean. Love it. And I'm glad that I decided to go with the muffler, because I think with a straight pipe, no muffler, it would be way too loud. You know, even with this muffler, it's a very minimal muffler from Diamond Eye. It's a very minimal muffler, and I think it's just right. Sounds amazing. You can hear the earth trembling. Alright guys, just driving with the new 5-inch exhaust. Beautiful day here today in north central Pennsylvania, but sounds really good. No issues so far, no exhaust leaks, no drone. I'm driving like 45 right now, but you can feel a little bit more like in-cab noise, obviously, because you know you're removing the catalytic converter, so obviously it's going to add a little noise. There's a little bit like vibration. I think that's just because the 5-inch pipe is so much bigger, and it just, you know, vibrates next to the body. And we got an Amish person here, Amish people. You can hear it a little bit in the cab, but it's not to the point where you have to like shout or, you know, anything crazy. You know, definitely a little bit more noise, but I'm running the DSP5 tune right now, and most of the time when you're driving like cruising speed with the DSP5 tunes, the vane position is at like 80%, just cruising around. So really, if you're just cruising, you're not going to get any drone. You'll get like a hissing noise and a whistle noise. Like right now I'm cruising at 1500 RPM, 47 miles an hour, and you know, no drone or anything like that. It does have that classic Duramax sound. When you step on the throttle, it has the classic Duramax sound. I'll see if I can open my window so you guys can hear that. Not sure if you guys heard that or not, but I'll try to get some more footage. I'll try to set up a tripod. It's kind of tough, but just makes that classic Duramax sound. And yeah, no droning or anything. I'm at 55 right now, so I'll get some more footage for you guys. But sounds good so far. No issues to report, thank God, because having exhaust leaks is a real pain. Having to fix exhaust leaks, I'd hate to have to go back under there and tighten things up and wiggle things around, you know. So thank God, no exhaust leaks. You really got to torque down your bolts nice and hard. So just cruising through town now, nice and quiet. As you can hear, nothing really in the cab. So yeah, you got to definitely put a muffler on though, because even with a muffler, once you straight pipe it, you know, you're adding like 30% more noise than factory. And if you have no muffler, then it's gonna be really loud, you know. It's gonna be really annoying after a while, you know. If you're just driving around once in a while, you know, if you're some kid, you want to impress people with a lot of noise, yeah, maybe that's for you. But I like to actually do things with my trucks, and I don't want to, like, you know, rattle my eardrums, you know, for hours on end if I'm towing or making a long distance trip. And so far, no issues at all with drone or anything like that. Like I said, a little bit of vibration, you know, you're gonna get vibration with a 5-inch exhaust. You know, the pipe is a lot larger, so, you know, it kind of reverberates, you know, against the body, and you feel a little more vibration in your feet. But that's pretty much it, you know. No drone or any kind of crazy noise. All right, guys, I'm gonna start the truck. It's warm right now. I'm on tune 4, so this is the one that rumbles at idle. Tunes 2 and 4 rumble at idle, the others hiss. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch between tunes 4 and tunes 5. So this way you can hear the difference between the rumble and the hiss. So I'm gonna start the truck now so you can hear it. Alright guys, I'm going to do some neutral revs right now. I'm going to rev it up in neutral so you can hear the turbo spool up. So listen up. So overall, I'm glad that I did the exhaust. It's definitely something that you can do on your own. You got a budget probably about 8 hours to do it. So you're gonna need about a full day to take the old exhaust off and put the new one on. And really what it comes down to is just fine-tuning everything. There's a lot of fine-tuning that you have to do with aftermarket exhaust, because you have all those different sections and you got to really manipulate them so they fit properly. So there's a lot of fine-tuning that has to be done, but I think Fred looks amazing. Super happy with my purchase. I'm glad I did it. He's in great shape. I had a lot of time underneath the truck. You know, all day underneath the truck, I was able to really get a detailed look at the undercarriage, and there's a very, very minimal rust. Just a couple of spots that I have to touch up with Cosmoline, which I may even do that soon. Just got to touch up a few spots with Cosmoline, but other than that, he's in great shape. Really loving these blue impact rings. Really loving the Wrangler Duratrax. I think they're great tires. Can't wait to test them in the mud. The Fox shocks seem to be working well. I'm probably gonna get underneath the truck soon and just double check all my bolts on the exhaust and make sure everything is torqued down good. It's definitely a good idea to double torque everything after you've driven a little while, just because of the vibration from driving and the heat and the cold cycles from you know, the exhaust getting hot and then getting cold. It's good to just get under there and just double check all your torque, make sure everything's still sitting where it needs to be, because you're dealing with an aftermarket exhaust, so it's not always going to fit 100% of the time, you know. But Davis Off-Road did a great job on the lift kit. As you can see, the Zone Off-Road lift kit, the suspension angles are just perfect. You can see the CV axles there, perfect angle. I got a lot of stuff planned for this truck still. I still got to do a S&B cold air intake and air dog lift pump and oil centrifuge. So I'm gonna be busy as springtime rolls in. Check out the badges. Oh, and I gotta replace these mirrors. I got some nice tow mirrors from Boost Auto, although I kind of like these mirrors because they're kind of, they don't stick out so far. Like tow mirrors, they, you know, they come out to here. Not sure I like that, so I don't know. And I actually like this old school antenna because it actually helps me judge my clearance if I'm gonna hit the roof of my truck or not anywhere. So, and I actually got my tip with me. I got the 8-inch tip, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slide the tip over the edge just so we can see if there's any difference between the 5-inch pipe and 8-inch tip. But yeah, the truck's running super clean with the DSP5 tune. I'm not rolling any coal or any kind of crazy pollution stuff. It runs super clean, even though the cat's removed. You know, a lot of people think on a diesel that, oh, you remove the cat and you're just gonna instantly start rolling coal like crazy. It doesn't work that way, guys. Really, you shouldn't be rolling coal. If your truck is tuned properly, you shouldn't be rolling coal. Rolling coal is unburnt fuel. So if your truck is tuned properly, cat or no cat, DPF or no DPF, it doesn't matter, because the tuning will make sure the engine runs clean, more importantly than the you know, filters, particulate filters. Really loving these tires, the Duratrax. And the video doesn't do justice, but The ground is like vibrating near this tip. It's really awesome near the tailpipe. So the 8-inch tip definitely makes it sound louder, or not louder, but deeper, throatier. And I did save my cat pipe and cat in case I ever want to go back to stock. Right now, under the Trump administration, they're not really enforcing the Clean Air Act, but you never know how things can change. So if I need to go back to stock, I can always do that. Also, if you're gonna do that, if you want to be able to go back to stock, you got to make sure you put some high temperature nickel anti-seize lubricant on the joint where you attach your cat back to your front pipe. So the front pipe basically replaces the cat pipe, and where that meets the rest of the exhaust, whatever joint you have, you better make sure you put some anti-seize on there so you can easily take it off and swap back and forth. But overall, super happy. I wish I could give you guys some more details, but it's really not that interesting. All I can tell you is that it took a lot of time to really get things right. You can actually see some of the silicone there. I did put silicone on some of the critical joints, high temperature silicone, and you really got to torque it down tight because these exhausts are heavy. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a drive-by, couple of drive-bys, and hopefully you guys can hear how the truck sounds driving by. So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. Stay tuned for more LBZ Duramax content. Excited to go through mud with Fred. I just got to get some mud flaps. They're coming in tomorrow because look what's going on over here. Really taking a beating over here. So definitely got to get the mud flaps installed. Just throwing up mud all over the place here just from my driveway. Look at that. So definitely got to get the mud flaps installed, but That's it for this one, guys. Check out my off-roading and truck playlist for all my off-roading and truck content. And until the next time, take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.